Yo, what's up? It's DJ Mac, and I'm here to talk about laptop DJing. I know, no one really wants to do that, but it's absolutely necessary to know how to laptop DJ because I was in a situation yesterday where I was using the was it Newmark Mixstream Pro Go, and unfortunately, I had forgotten my charger cable, which I hate the fact that that cable doesn't, it's not universal, so it's not the regular IEC cable that you can kind of find anywhere. I even had one on me, but unfortunately, the Newmark Pro Go or any Newmark Pro unit doesn't have the same IEC power cable. They all use that same power brick, external power brick that nobody likes. That we tell the company stop making these because we don't like it. But anyways, um, but yeah. So unfortunately, my unit had died mid set because it went over the amount of hours that it was able to function. At the time, it was at 60, about like 64% or something like that. And the event was supposed to go for just 2 hours, but it went over. Um, so I ended up playing for close to 3.5 hours, roughly. It would have probably made it if it was fully charged, but unfortunately, it had died out. And luckily, it actually died out like not in the middle of like when music was playing. It kind of died out like right before I had to do like a major like segment towards the end of the show. It was a fashion show, but I was able to recover because I just told them, hey, just give me a second, because there was times where they they had to hold off on their end on the fashion show, so kind of respect my request as well. But yeah, so I had to literally just plug my laptop via aux cable, aux out from my laptop into their system, which was fine. But what I learned actually is if your unit dies, you have to just do a quick restart of DJ. So you just turn DJ off and turn it back on. And luckily, DJ turns off like immediately as soon as you exit out of it. And I'm telling you this because, like, you know, I'm saving you time and headache on what to do. Because if you were to try to just plug in the aux cable directly into the laptop, you won't get sound right away. No matter if you try to mess around with the audio settings, you won't get like sound right away. So you literally have to like restart it. It's weird like that. It just has to just restart, but it literally takes like 5 seconds. Like you could literally count that. It takes 1 second to turn it off, and then 2 seconds to turn it back on, to restart DJ. Yeah, so you don't have to turn off the computer. You just restart in the program. So once I did that, I figured it out like on the fly, and then I just turned my volume up, turned my gains up, um, and I had to. Luckily, I know the hotkeys for play, pause, cue points, things of that nature. So it's just important to just know those things, because I know as DJs we want to use our laptop. I mean, we want to use our controllers and look cool and everything, but keep your controller there for aesthetic reasons. You know what I mean? Um, and just keep calm in the situation, which is what I had to do, and I just kept mixing. You know what I mean? I used my mouse to drag my fader down, turn up volumes using the gain, use my EQs, and luckily DJ comes with an on-screen mixer. So yeah, um, but I'm gonna show you really quickly how to get that set up. Let me just turn this actually into um, internal mode, so that way. Let me see here. Just want to go to internal mode. There it is. Hit apply. And just know that when you hit apply, it actually stops the music from playing briefly, like for 2 seconds, and then gets into internal mode. So yeah, so now I have my mixer, crossfader here. I can move my up faders, and my EQ stems here, filter with my gain. So the main things that you just need to know is how to load songs in, um, which I've already mapped it to shift left, shift right, similar to Serato. Um, so I could just boom, have that come in, have that song come in, hit spacebar for play on the left side, and return for play on the right deck. So that's pretty much it. I believe you can hit Q and A. Let me try that. Um, sorry, usually it's A, but anyways, yeah, it's just spacebar and return. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I was just mixing in and out manually, and I just wanted to make this video because it's just important to know how to know your equipment. So in case one equipment dies, you know how to recover and switch over to the next. I've been DJing a little over 10 years, and I'm saying that because you just have to be real witty, you know what I mean? Because situations happen, you know what I mean? I don't know why I forgot my charger. It just happened. I just was leaving the house, and I always put my charger in my bag, and I'm thinking my charger's in my bag. Um, and it was just still plugged in because I was charging it before. Um, but then I played out with it, and I just completely forgot it. Um, but yeah, and that said, I'm gonna make like a list before I leave the house and just put my list on my door, and yeah, just do it that way. So that way I don't forget anything. And you're always gonna manually touch everything that you bring that's on your list. I learned that as well. So don't just look at your list and then assume it's there. Actually touch the charger, touch the controller, touch your laptop, touch the charger for your laptop, all of that. You know what I mean? So that way you know that it's physically there because you're gonna be physically using it. Um, yeah, and one last thing is, if Newmark is listening, please add a way so that way we can see how much battery power is left in the unit. You know what I mean? So that way, I can prepare for the switchover because you don't want the switchover to just randomly die. You don't want the controller to randomly die and not know when it's gonna die. You know what I mean? So you can kind of prepare. Um, but yeah. Other than that, the event went pretty fine, pretty much fine. It was just, you know, just had to go off the cuff and play as I thought I should play. But that's the breaks of DJing. It's just like sometimes you might forget things. It's not an issue of technology. The technology was fine, but it was just the fact that you know it didn't help that I forgot my charger, but it did help that I knew how to DJ off of my laptop. And that, again, that's a really cool feature of DJ. You can actually DJ from your laptop. Serato, you can't do it unless you buy the upgrade. So if you get Serato Play, you can do it. But if you don't have Serato Play, like if you're just buying, Serato like directly from the website, it will not come with it unless you get the upgrade, and and that's a paid upgrade. So with DJ, it's free. You know what I mean? But anyways, I just want to get that out there to people and let them know, like, hey, there's more than one way to DJ, and if you're sitting there just sticking to one way, or just, hey, I'm gonna just DJ this one way and I don't care about this, that, and the other. This is how I always been doing it. If you're very hard headed about it, you're gonna be in a sticky situation, and it's gonna be no one else's fault but you. Everyone's gonna be looking at you like, hey, what's going on? Why is the music playing? It's just like, what I mean, you have to have the responsibility and the know-how to jump right back on the saddle and keep the event going. You know what I mean? Like that's your responsibility as a DJ. But yeah, but just keep everything going. By the end of it, you know, people were just like, "Hey, man, you did a great job. I love the music and everything." So, um, I got good reviews despite that, because that usually happens. I do a gig, and I think I, you know, had the worst time because I think I messed up and everything, and it was like, no, like people were fine. They were just, you know, just waiting for the recovery of music and then right back into it. So, but anyways, yeah, I leave this video for you so that way you can use it to help you in your gigs and so you don't freak out. All right, DJ Mac, I'm out. Peace.